Escape from the Jibafofi. The Jibafofi loomed over us, its monstrous form silhouetted against the pale light of the moon. Its legs, impossibly long and covered in thick, bristling hairs, flexed as it moved closer to the altar. The villagers' chants grew louder, their voices rising in a terrible crescendo. We struggled against the ropes that bound us, the rough fibers cutting into our skin. Panic was setting in, our breaths coming in short, ragged gasps. The air was thick with the stench of decay, and the faint clicking sounds from the Jibafofi's mandibles sent shivers down my spine. Derek, closest to the altar's edge, tugged at his bindings with feral desperation. "We're not dying here," he growled, his voice laced with defiance, allowing Claire and I to escape the village's terrifying ritual. With one final mighty pull, Derek managed to free himself. Without hesitation, Derek grabbed a burning torch from one of the sconces and began hacking at our ropes, freeing Claire, then me. "Go!" he barked. "We don't have much time." We bolted from the altar, sprinting toward the dense wall of jungle beyond the village. Behind us, the Jibafofi let out a deafening screech, its enormous legs skittering over the altar as it gave chase. The jungle seemed to close in around us as we ran, the underbrush clawing at our clothes and skin. Claire stumbled, but Derek caught her, pushing her forward. "Keep moving!" he yelled, his voice raw with urgency. But the Jibafofi was gaining. Its massive body tore through the foliage, the ground trembling beneath its weight. We could hear its hissing breaths, feel the vibrations of its pursuit in our bones. Suddenly, Derek stopped. "Derek, what are you doing?" Claire screamed, but he turned to face the creature, his eyes filled with grim determination. Our harrowing flight through the jungle leads to a painful reflection on loss and the bonds of friendship. "I'll hold it off," he said, gripping the torch tightly. "You two keep going. Get out of here now." "No, we're not leaving you," I shouted, but Derek shook his head, a sad smile playing on his lips. "Don't argue, just run," he said, his voice steady despite the terror in his eyes. "This thing doesn't stop unless we give it what it wants." The Jibafofi emerged from the shadows, its glowing eyes fixed on Derek. He raised the torch high, waving it in front of him as he stepped forward. In a desperate bid for survival, "Come on, you ugly bastard," he roared. "You want a meal? Come and get it." The creature lunged. "Run!" Derek screamed, his final command piercing through the chaos. Claire grabbed my arm, and we ran, tears streaming down our faces. Behind us, we heard Derek's final defiant shout, followed by the sickening sound of the Jibafofi's mandibles snapping shut. The jungle swallowed us whole as we fled, our hearts pounding, the nightmarish sounds of the creature fading into the distance. We didn't stop until we could no longer hear the Jibafofi or the cries of the villagers. Finally, we collapsed in a clearing, gasping for air. Derek was gone. He had sacrificed himself to save us, giving us a chance to escape the beast's clutches. His last words echoed in my mind. "Run! Get out of here, now!" The jungle was silent once more, but the memory of Derek's sacrifice and the horrors we had witnessed would haunt us forever. To be continued. Like, subscribe, and share to follow our journey as we try to make it out of the jungle alive in Part 5.